Hello and welcome to episode 168 of the 77 Club. I'm going to ask Harry for the socials and hopefully we get the right answer. Harry, start with the socials.
Yeah, the Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter. And just, sorry, we never usually do this, but Lucky Harpoon Sam has just put in the comments, will you bring back the intro music? Well, we have just heard it, the big long intro.
There you go. I'll put it in. Put it in for you, Lucy. Just for a little bit of context, Harry has been playing poker with the stars, quite literally, I think, haven't you, Harry? You've been playing poker with the true Geordie, who is a wicked YouTuber.
Yeah, I'm not laughing. He is good. Yeah, mate. I've just got back, so I'm a bit ropey, but we'll pull through. Hello, Jack and Dan.
We'll get through it together. Slightly less worse for wear, is Dan Bayliss.
Hello. It's really impressive that you've turned those blue little paint samples into that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a work of art, isn't it? I've had the crayons out all weekend, and just finished it actually. It's just trying not to smudge it. So Jack Williams is here.
It's even more impressive that you turned up this week, Dan, isn't it? Actually,
yeah, nearly dissolved the podcast last week.
Everybody,
it was pandemonium. Right, okay. Well, let's start with Leeds. Jack, I'm going to start with you just to give Harry a little bit of break and just so he can sip his Heineken a little bit more after saying he was never drinking again. Because you went to Ellen Road. Was it the first time you've been to Ellen Road?
No.
Been before?
Yeah.
Second time?
Third or fourth, I think, probably over the years.
Well, how was it?
It was a good day, actually. Leeds is a good city, to be fair. It's one we should probably do for a night out at some point. It's lively. In terms of got the train up from London. Good day, really. Good day. Some good pubs around there. Found a nice little pub in one of the back streets, which was really nice. And the game was, a bit of a mixed bag, really. It wasn't the most exciting game ever, let's be honest. But we thought for a vast majority of the game, particularly after it got into the latter stages, and we were still 1-0 up after Wang's goal, that we were going to hold on, really. And it's just unfortunate that we gave away a penalty, which looking back was a bit soft, but it's one of these things, really. I wasn't too disappointed walking away from the ground because it's a tough place to go. Their fans, you've got to give it to them. They are good. They are loud. They make it hostile. They stayed with them to the end. And it's not a bad point, really. And on the balance of play, they probably deserved it because they did absolutely go for us in the last 20 minutes. And it's their own fault for sitting too deep, really. And if you're going to say you could either concede last goal against Leeds or score a last-minute winner against Villa, I'd take the Villa one all the time. So I'm not too disappointed overall.
Harry, let's have a look at the starting lineup. Sarr in goal, Kilman, Cody, Say, Semedo, Dendoncker, Matinho, Nori, Traore, Wang and Jimenez. So no place for Neves, no place for Marçal either. We sort of thought we'd saw the one come in, but maybe not Neves. I think that was the one that probably surprised you the most.
Yeah, definitely. I was shocked by that. I don't know if it's a fitness thing or I don't know if it was tactical, but we mentioned last week Neves should be the first man on the team sheet for me, especially in midfield. So I was shocked at that. And I also thought on the day, Matinho and Dendoncker weren't that good either. So especially towards the end of the game as well, like last 20 minutes, as you mentioned, Leeds come on to us. So yeah, the team lineup, I was glad Nori come in because he was brilliant. I thought he was a breath of fresh air in that left wing back position. Sorry, I'm really struggling to get all words out here. But he was like really skillful, flying forward, very positive. Did okay defensively too. And I was really impressed with him. So in that change, it was good.
You're doing much better than I thought you would be, so stick at it.
You do look like you've been pissed for the last day and a half there, Harry.
Listen on the podcast, he's got his hood up with his headphones over his hood. But I saw a stat. No player in European football is more successful at stopping attempted dribblers than Nelson Semedo. That's 82% this season. Then I've got to go over to the wing-back correspondent to get his views.
I said it immediately. It's because they pass round him. He's never in the right position to tackle many people. I bet he's had hardly any people try and go past him.
No, but it's stopping attempted dribblers.
That's what I'm saying. So no one dribbles at him because they know he gets in the wrong position. You can pass around him in triangles. It happens every week. They did him all ends up for the penalty. They say he is not good enough. Nowhere near good enough.
The one thing,
and that's not even the point I wanted to get to. I wanted to talk about completely other things about the Leeds game. I didn't even want to discuss the penalty. I think the reason the penalty came, as much as it was a terrible decision, touch anybody in the box, they're going to go down. It's moronic to do what he did. But to invite Leeds on for 20 minutes was so stupid. You got 40,000 thick Northerners. They're all going to get behind them. Well, it's true. I actually quite like Leeds. My very good friend Soft Hands.
Baelish, you don't like anything.
I love Leeds. It's a great city. Northerners.
Scored
nonetheless.
40,000 thick Northerners.
But they're all going to go nuts, aren't they? They're all willing that ball into the goal, and eventually they got it in the last second thanks to a piece of idiocy. So we got what we deserved, really. I think the kid that came on for them was fantastic. He knew just what to do. Just as we were getting tired and we let him come on to us, he knew to just drive at the Wolves' defence because he knows it's not very good. And they got their reward in the end. And it was thanks to the classic, Semedo makes a mistake. And everyone said, the goal, he was absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. To be perfectly honest, the guy made a bit of a fluff of it and he got his toe there in front and then did the right thing, got round the back and pulled it back for a goal. Like exactly what he should do. That is what he should have done 20 to 30 times this season and won us 8 to 10 goals. And he's done it once. So the one thing that Matt Doherty did do, and did it quite successfully quite a lot, you've all gone, Semedo, brilliant. I love you. It's what Doherty did every week for Wolves. Every week.
Give away penalties in the last minute.
Well, yeah, that as well.
But it's a bit with the penalty though. I've watched it back at the time from where I was stood. I did think I was like, when you've got your sort of grit your teeth as soon as you see it, you're like, oh shit, that looks like a penalty. Watching it back though, it's soft and just go down. The thing I've got a bit of sympathy for is the fact that Semedo's then has to play on the wrong side, isn't he? Because Aitnouri's gone off.
I think that's
Aitnouri I thought was really good, by the way. But I think there's questions about his fitness and whether he can actually last a full 90 minutes at the moment. What happened to Marcel? I assume he's injured.
It rained the other week.
So if I don't know how bad it is, I haven't heard anything about it really, or whether he'll be back soon. But I thought Aitnouri did well. It's just, like I say, questions about his fitness. And then Semedo's been asked to play on the wrong side when we're really under the cosh and tired legs. And, he's just gone and bought the foul. And he should have let that lad shoot because although he came on and ran well, he couldn't really finish, could he? Because he had that one that Sarr made a great save with. So it's unfortunate, but I'm not too disheartened overall.
The issue wasn't as much the penalty, even though it's a really stupid... Like, if you touch it on the box in this league, when both of you are facing goal, they are going to go down. But the stupid thing was just letting them come at us and at us and at us. We looked like conceding for 20 minutes. So when we did, you can't really complain about it, can you? Even though it was a bit of a soft penalty, I don't think anyone can moan about the penalty itself. I mean, Leeds fans were all kicking off that... What was it? All sorts of nonsense.
That Raul was play acting on that, wasn't it? They were annoyed at that.
Do you know what? If Diego Costa had been Raul, Leeds would have played with 10 because he'd have had Rafinha sent off. He stamped down the back of his leg. If you watch that on VAR and were one of those stupid refs in the VAR box in Stockley Park, and Raul has done 4 barrel rolls and a triple splits, it'd have been a red card. Yeah, it would have been a red card.
What about the Sace one though? Because they were all up in arms about the Sace one as well, weren't they?
That was an accident, I thought.
Yeah, well, because he just comes in and hits it with his hand, doesn't he? But...
Yeah, he kind of misjudged it and then accidentally spun his ankle into a cob's web. But I think it was an accident.
He has a mistake every game, though, didn't he? That's the problem with Sace.
We had so many bookings on today, didn't we?
Semedo has 5 and you all still back him.
I'm not buying the Semedo thing because I thought overall he had an all right game and then he was asked to play on the wrong side and gave away a penalty. But I agree with you in the fact it's what we deserved because we were just decided to, particularly the last 20 minutes, just sit back and try and see it out rather than playing Bruno ball or whatever.
Don't get what we tried to do. Surely, if you want to hold out a game, you pack the middle and try and keep the ball. And we did the opposite.
Yeah, it was disappointing. It was disappointing as well because they had so many injuries, Leeds, which we discussed last week. They only had Rafinha really out their star players, and it was 2 points drop, wasn't it? Especially the way we started, going 1-0 up so early.
I think you talk about game changes though, and we didn't have one because they did. And Geldhart, Harry, I thought was absolutely phenomenal when he came out on. But I think he will be a teenage sensation based on that performance. He completely turned the game on its head.
Yeah, definitely. I'd never heard of the kid, to be honest, and he was just so positive. And that one as well, when Sarr pulled off a great save, that one shot he had, tipped it over the bar. And then, as Bayliss mentioned, he just ran through. I mean, obviously, Semedo was the final nail in the coffin by bringing him down by a clumsy tackle, but he ran past about 4 players before him as well. So you've got to point the finger at them too. And fair play to the kid. He got him a point, and I think he's a future star, to be honest. Really good player.
Great point on Sarr, because I've got a stat here from the other 14, so best of the rest outside of the top 6, and it's save percentages. Season 2, game week 9, Sarr has 27 saves, 9 goals against, and a save percentage of 75%. He is top, yeah, and to be fair, he's conceded the fewest goals in there, even though You've got Backman and Darlow at Watford and Newcastle, respectively, with 6 and 8, but they haven't played as many games. So, a huge asset. And I was one of the people that questioned him when he came in and getting rid of Patricio. And I thought it was the wrong decision. But I think you've got to say, haven't you, Jack? He's been phenomenal ever since he came in.
He's actually brilliant, to be fair. And I think he actually, thinking about it so far, he could well be our player of the season so far. And he's just come and taken that role and just fit into it immediately. Really, there's been no adjustment. He looks like he's just straight in and just settled in the Premier League really well. Great shot stopper, and arguably commands his box a bit better than Patricio as well. How he doesn't get in the Portugal team, I don't know. Matter of
time,
really.
Isn't it? I would have thought.
You think so? If he's playing the Premier League, that's probably why he wanted to move himself, really, because suddenly if you're doing this in the Premier League, people pay more attention than if you do it in the Greek league. So you'd think so, but I think he's definitely one of the biggest positives of this season so far. I love the bloke. I think he's great.
Bayliss, bring you in there. Did you want to say something there?
Yeah, I do agree. I think he's been absolutely superb. I can't name many times he's made a mistake yet, if any. I think there was one with his feet, wasn't there?
United.
Yeah.
The Greenwood one, remember that?
And probably the goal against Newcastle where he should have stayed down and done 20 front flips. But
shit-housed it.
Yeah, he should have. But the point Jack made that I wanted to comment on was if a goalkeeper's player of the season, God, you've had a bad season.
Can we stop doing this routine as well from goal kicks? I do not understand it. And the amount we give away the ball is absolutely atrocious.
Play out from the back, you mean?
Yeah,
they
it
try
just
to go
doesn't
short,
work.
don't they? Yeah.
I just don't get them.
All the good teams try and do that now, don't they? So,
I agree with Martin Webb there. I think Kilman's been the best player.
Kilman's been great as well, yeah. I agree.
It's been very good. Hungry Like the Wolf says, Geldhart reminded me of a young Wayne R. I think he's better than Wayne Routledge, to be fair. Might mean Wayne Rooney there. Overall, we're happy with a point, I would say. Leeds are a little bit further down the league than you expect them to be, but the table is starting to take shape a little bit, I think. 9 games in, it's usually 10 where you go, oh, that's probably going to be there or thereabouts. Would you say, Harry?
Yeah, it's definitely starting to make sure. And we said after the first 3 games, I knew we'd be fine. And we'd take mid-table. We're sitting there right now. But on another day, you hold out and we could have been, 5th? So it's just so tight, isn't it? So, yeah, we're on track at the moment, even though, looking at social media, you would think the world was ending after that draw Saturday. People were
crazy. Yeah, didn't get that at all.
So I'm pretty content with how it's going at the moment, to be honest.
That's weird, because walking away from the ground, I didn't get that. I know I wasn't really on Twitter, but obviously if you reading through that after the game, I thought everyone was fairly, it's not a bad point overall. Which was probably what we deserved, really. I think it would have been a bit unfair on them if we'd taken all 3. And overall, if you think the first 3 games were really difficult, and obviously we had no points from those, but arguably we should have got at least 1 or 2 points. And since then, the next 6, we got 4 wins and a draw. That's really good. So you've got to look at the bigger picture a little bit, really. If we do that again in the next 6 games, we'll suddenly be 6th in the league, probably. So
just get tough over Christmas, in all fairness.
Well, that's true, but then that's why we need to get the points on the board now, really, to give us that free hit. And also, with the way that our team seems to rise to these occasions of playing difficult fixtures, then who says we can't go and get something? So let's see, really. But overall, I think when you think about Bruno Lage, and he was brought in, relatively unknown. Some people didn't want him. And then ultimately really not backed in the way that he should have been as a new manager coming in. And we're going to have real problems probably in January with the Cup of Nations and everything. Yeah. He's done really well. I think you can't really rate him less than a 7 out of 10 so far. So, I'm pleased with it overall. But obviously that could change if we lose on Monday. Who knows? But we're fickle.
Very, very fickle, yeah. Would you say there's a man of the match in there, Harry?
I'm going to give it to the goal scorer, Hee-Chan. I thought he had a really good game up front. I'll go with him.
Got to put some Korean in your YouTube vids as well, didn't you? So, that's always a
bonus. Like hell. Because they equalised, even though he scored, the Koreans weren't having any.
They weren't biting.
Oh, they're not. Are they fickle as well? They only care if they win.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's North Korea, isn't it?
They just say that they win. Regardless,
I'm going to clickbait True Geordie's name for my next video, so let's try and make
good
it
man. Oh yeah, you got to make hay while the sun shines. Jack, is there a man of the match?
Yeah, Jose Sá.
Good call. Bayliss.
Yeah, it's 2-1 Leeds. I know I've just given a stick to keepers getting accolades, but it would have been a Leeds win without Sá.
Perfect. Okay, let's move on to next game of the Premier League. Our weekend cannot be ruined. It's Monday night. It's under the lights at Molineux against Everton. If you want to go and check out the away perspective with Matt Jones at the Blue Room, you can do that on YouTube. Otherwise, if you are listening to the podcast, here is your away perspective. Everton had a really weird one last weekend because I think they pretty much did an us against Watford, actually. And they were winning in the 80th minute and lost 5-2. To a very, very poor Watford side. They haven't pulled up any trees. I think they haven't been good at all this season so far. But Josh King came back to haunt them, hat trick, as you just heard with Matt there. Former Everton players coming back to haunt them. Jack, this looks like it could be a tasty game. There seems to always be goals, Wolves versus Everton.
It could be tasty, yeah, and it's another one probably. The way the season's been going, and like we were just saying about the way the table's shaping up, it's quite open. I can't really call. It's one of those that could go either way. The thing I'm sort of worried about is the fact we haven't had a sort of a really bad result since Brentford, really. So we're probably due one. So I'm a bit worried about this one. And also, I think there was a stat that we don't do very well on Monday nights usually.
1 in 10.
Yeah.
The last,
1 in 10. UB40, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and also I've mix that with how we didn't do very well in the early kickoff against Brentford. I'm a bit worried, but it's all about how they respond, really. I mean, that's a freak result, isn't it, really? Especially to be winning against Watford and lose 5-2. So you think they'd get a response. And at the same time, it depends how disappointed we are about not holding out against Leeds. So it's a difficult game, but it's winnable for either team.
Harry, the thing that we don't want to see is Richarlison come back in. Matt Jones reckons that he will. It's going to be Richarlison versus Cody. Has Cody ever won that battle?
No, he always scores, doesn't he, Richarlison? So you guarantee he will score. On this game, they've lost their last 2, haven't they? But they're still 8th in the league ahead of us. So it's going to be a toughie. But you'd think after seeing them get absolutely smashed by Watford, who we beat quite easily 2-0, didn't we? You'd think we're going to win, wouldn't you? And we're at home. Monday night, you've got to be looking for the win here. Famous last words, but come on. I think we're going to win this game, and I think we will.
They've changed the manager, haven't they, since then, Watford? So maybe that's made a difference. I don't know. Maybe,
they got smashed against Liverpool, but I suppose Liverpool smash everyone, don't they? So
that's true. Especially Man United.
They did no worse than Man United, yeah. It was 5-0 as well. So Bayliss, Benitez back in the dugout at Molineux.
I'm interested in this game. It's one of those that if you were just a normal football fan doing your weekend accumulator, it's the one
like you really like 15 deep one where you're like
a bog roll.
Oh my God, it's 100 grand. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You'd avoid this game like the plague, wouldn't you?
You would.
You just wouldn't go near it.
I might have it on my 4 draws.
Yeah, draw would be the sensible pick, I think, out of the 3. But it's one of those where they could react well, come back, do us 2-0, like a Brentford-style one, or Wolves push on, annoyed, as the other lads have said, with drawing in the last second, and we go and do them 2-0. It's the widest open fixture, I think, of the year for us so far.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Harry, any changes from Leeds?
It's got to be Neves back in, hasn't it? I'd keep Ait-Nouri, left wing back, even if Marcel's fit. And then pretty much as you were, although I did think Traore was very quiet, I thought, against Leeds, for me. I didn't think he did much, but I think I'd still put him in there because obviously when we know when he's on it, he could be a match winner. So yeah. I don't know what's going on with Bolly. He wasn't even on the bench, was he? So very strange one there. I think probably just Neves in.
Someone say he was sick, Bolly. I don't know if he's injured or whether he was ill. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not
strange.
Sure.
Maybe you went and had a curry at that place where you went to, Bayliss.
Still not right after that.
I've never been so thin. Harry, just on the point of Neves, was it in for Dendoncker, I presume?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be for Dendoncker, yeah. Moutinho weren't great either, but I think he was better at the 2.
Jack?
Any changes, is this?
Yes, any changes.
I don't know. His opponent's pushing for a start, maybe? I don't know, because I agree that, Traore was quiet against Leeds, but a difficult game when we're not attacking, really. But yeah, I agree with the guys. I'd like to see Neves come in, and I would like to see Bolly come back in at some point, as I know we've said in previous weeks, just because Sace always makes a mistake or does something, could have got sent off, or so I just have more confidence in Bolly overall. Nothing against Sace, he's done well so far this season, but I think if we're playing our strongest centre backs, then Bolly should be one of them, really.
Bayliss?
Yeah, definitely the Neves, as they've said. I think I would start Pedence over Traore and bring Traore on at 60 minutes, give him half an hour run at them. I think that's actually one thing we haven't spoken about yet in any of the pods, how bad Wolves substitutions have been.
Agree with that.
We seem
late, always so
we seem
late.
10 minutes late on the game.
So late, I agree.
I was in the stands at the Villa game saying, gotta change it now. And it was literally 2 minutes later, they scored their second. Now, yeah, stars aligned and we did something ridiculous, but we do seem to be 10 minutes behind the game in the second half with subs.
Is it, do you think it's a Portuguese thing? Because Nuno was the same. Maybe it's just like a Portuguese style where they just don't want to change it, or they leave it way too late. Yeah.
Well, they're an hour in front, aren't they, in Portugal? So
they should be making them after 15 minutes, then, shouldn't
they? Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it is. Just on the subs, it is a bit of an issue. That's probably the only issue I've got with Bruno at the moment, because obviously he's got us playing all right, but these late subs has got to change. He's got to change. He's got to be more brave, and change it.
It's the ability to change a game rather than react to it.
Yeah.
It's very reactionary at the moment, isn't it?
That's the thing, and I think the games that we haven't done so well or we have lost this season have been, I think, that the other manager has out-tacticked him.
I think the only example I can think of where he did kind of make the right decision was Watford away, when he brought on Hwang and Pedence. That was, I think one came on earlier than the other, but that's one that shoots to mind where, they are crap, but I think that's one that shoots to mind where it actually worked and the game got changed and we scored. So.
Well, Villa did work, really, because he brought Pedence on.
Yeah, yeah.
When the game was uncomfortable.
Yeah. But it should have been earlier, shouldn't it? Even though it did work, it could have.
And to be fair, when you have Pedence on the pitch, you know that you're going to get a good delivery from a corner as well, because it's
his
not
first two
played.
Front man against Villa. His first two
but they are quite a lot bigger than him, Harry. You got
to be fair. It's like playing with a larger ball.
Under 10.
I'll ask you guys something. When you think about the Villa game and the end of it, do you still smirk to yourself?
Yes, 100%.
Not really, because you had my ticket. So.
That's why he smirks.
I think maybe that's why I didn't care that much about Leeds, really, because I was just thinking, it doesn't matter. Last week was still great. Who cares?
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
I can ride that for a couple of weeks. But I think the thing with Bruno is sometimes the fans, particularly in the ground, can see that it's not working. And everyone's like, this isn't working, particularly when you're talking about players like Traore or whoever it might be. And it does just take that little bit longer, I think, for Bruno to change stuff. And when you've got the subs, and if they're going to change the amount of subs as well, because there's talk about the 5 subs coming back in again, isn't there? We're going to change that, which will help, obviously, Man City and Liverpool. Then, you can't be just not making a change until 89 or whatever it is. I know it's about 75 minutes. He brought Podence on, wasn't it? But the last two were just like right towards the end, Hoover and Neves. So,
do you think that's down to his maybe lack of managerial experience of not quite being in a place where he can back himself 100% yet?
No, I don't know. No? I think it's obviously just a thing that he believes that the players on the pitch. Maybe he thinks it takes too long for players to get into the flow or something, or maybe he wants to leave it as late as possible to make the most impact with fresh legs. I don't know.
Even the Newcastle game, when I think he was just about to bring Traore on quite early because we got the second, he didn't, did he? And he brought him on like the 89th minute. Just little things like that. I don't know. Honestly, I actually think it's like a Portuguese managerial trait. I don't know. I don't want to be what's it called? Nationalist.
Nationalist.
Nationalist. But you know what I mean.
Heineken's kicking.
Because Nuno is exactly the same. That's what I'm trying to say.
Score prediction, Bayliss.
1-1 draw.
Harry.
0-0.
Oh, God, imagine. Jack.
2-1 Everton. To be honest.
Oh, don't, because you always get it right. You've been right 90% of
you had
the time
one
this
for Leeds,
season.
Didn't you, Jack?
I had 1-1 for Leeds, yeah. I said 2-2 for Villa, which was close.
Yeah.
Like
you were far
close.
off. Yeah. You were on target on that one. And obviously for me, 2-1. Let's get your latest betting odds and ticket news.
Yeah, sorry. I was actually looking for some bets that we put on the other week. It's really uninteresting, unfortunately, because the specials aren't up yet because we're the Monday night game.
Much too young.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Absolutely go.
One for the older viewers.
2-1, Hwang first goal, 28-1. Crap, short. 1-0 Wolves, Sace to get the goal because he always gets one when they happen. 55 to 1.
He gets one when he scores.
He gets one at some point. He gets one. One that I do actually fancy: Richarlison to score first, but Wolves to win 3-1, 175 to 1.
Wow.
There's your value. There's
He's
the
definitely
value.
a player, Richarlison, to be honest.
I think there's a feeling that he is. Yeah.
And then the 1-1 draw. Semedo to get the first goal.
Yeah. Big bucks, is it? Oh, I don't know. It seems quite short.
250. 250.
I'll go
Yeah, it's not good
175.
anymore.
175.
160 to 1.
160 to 1.
But I think if you keep it on the betting apps and give it till after the Saturday 3 o'clock, there'll be way better odds on there than that. So sorry for wasting 2 minutes of your time.
Jack has your ticket news.
There's not a lot to say, guys, to be honest. There's a few singles knocking about for Everton, but obviously you need to be a member to purchase them under the new ticketing rules. But if you do want to go and don't mind paying 50 quid for the Billy Wright, then there is a chance to do that. Obviously, it's Monday night, 8 o'clock. It's not the most favourable kickoff time, which is probably why there's a few left. Apart from that, there's actually a under-23s game against West Brom, which is free for season ticket holders on the 5th of November, if people want to get down for that, which is a Friday night. Apart from that, there's not much to say, really. Palace, the away game is sold out to members on 1,050, or season ticket holders on 1,050 points, I should say. And I think the West Ham game, the home game on the 20th of November, is pretty much sold out as well now, to be honest.
I reckon we're going to beat Palace as well, and instead we're going to have to watch a drunk bloke with a big nose shout Jenny at everyone for 6 hours.
I don't know what you're on about. Talking of, I missed that bloody. I was meant to go to that open training session today, when because obviously I went to London. I didn't go.
But you ditched taking your son to Molineux for the first time to go get pissed and play poker.
That is so Harry. It's such a Harry thing to do.
Nah, last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, can't complain. Excellent. Right, okay. What were we looking at next? There was something I was going to talk about, which was I saw an article today, BBC Sport, and it was talking about the Newcastle owner, the takeover. I know we've talked a lot about Newcastle recently, but it got me thinking because it says Newcastle takeover. Do they need to spend £1 billion to reach the Champions League? And I thought, well, probably. But I wondered if we turn it into a Wolves question, is how much do you think Wolves would need to spend realistically to get into the top 4? Do you think it would take £1 billion?
Well, we're nearly
300
there.
million.
We're nearly there. If we'd have won against Leeds, we would have been 5th.
Would have been.
Nah, we need a good 5 or 6 players, I reckon. Solid.
Yeah.
Good players, and what you're talking on average of 20-odd million each. So
More
than that, maybe 50. You'd have to go. You need 5 world beaters, really.
So we're talking 600 million. So
without transfer records, I mean, Silva and Semedo were pushing the 40 million mark, weren't they each? So I don't know. $1 billion sounds like a lot, doesn't it? I mean, Newcastle wouldn't need that much of an overhaul, would they?
They spent 300 already on buying it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
True.
True.
I mean, Newcastle will need a complete overhaul. How many players really do you think are top 4 players in their team? Saint-Maximin, maybe.
Maximin.
And what else?
Wilson.
Arguably, but I think he maybe as like a bench striker.
Did you see his goal against Palace? Wilson. The
No.
overhead kick. Oh my life! I've got to watch
The
it.
other thing you have to
after
consider
finishes.
is it's not just buying them; it's having the cash available to pay them each week to get the Champions League quality players.
Yes,
So-
that's true.
That's a good
And
point.
also the Champions League quality stadiums and facilities and all that jazz.
Maybe they'll
we need to spend
Traore off us.
300 million on the ground.
He ain't signed a new contract, has he? By the looks of it, Traore, he'll be gone in January.
Really dragging his knuckles on that one because he could be.
Well, I suppose the thing with Newcastle though is also they can't just go and buy those players straight away because, especially if they're still in the bottom 3, like in January. It's a massive risk, isn't it? If you're thinking, I want Champions League football, but I could be playing the Champions League next year reasonably, because
Especially with the other clubs hating them, they're going to hold them to ransom on transfer fees.
They want Cody.
Exactly.
Yeah, if they say we'll pay 20 million for Cody, we'll just go 30.
So they kind of
You've
have
got
to
the
go
money.
rather than going straight for the Champions League. They probably need to go right. What's going to make us mid-table or a lower mid-table established before they can make that next step up? Really. So they can't just go straight away and buy Messi. To be honest,
I'd love him to go down. It'd be so funny.
It would be quite funny though.
They still haven't won, have they? Still haven't won. So just if that keeps going on to Christmas, they haven't won a game by Christmas, then they're going to be going down.
They're so lucky that Norwich are
They are
atrocious.
crap as well, aren't they, Norwich? My God, so poor.
Watch them
Their
beat us
records.
now at their place.
Isn't their record like worse than Derby's at this point?
Yeah,
when
it
Derby
is.
finished on like hardly any points.
But Derby, that won their one that they won, didn't they? By now,
Yeah, they beat Newcastle
actually,
ironically.
didn't
Yeah,
they? Well,
yeah.
Kenny Miller scored, didn't he?
Kenny Miller, yeah, bloody
I
yeah.
remember that. Yeah,
Flashback.
Yeah.
It ran from inside his own half, I think, from memory. There you go. It
Big
sticks
long
in there.
Ranger, wasn't it? It was like from miles out. I remember.
He bought him from Rangers actually. Excellent. Right, we will leave it there for this week, unless anybody else has any burning desire to add anything.
Would you sell Cody
questions.
to Newcastle if they offer 20 million? That's my burning
Yes.
question.
Well, not if it
I think he's our main man. So
No, you've always spoken favourably. No, to be honest, I think as long as we were reactive enough. It depends when it was. If it was in January, probably not. If it was next summer, then yes. And
you can't sell him in January. We'll have just be Max Kilman playing the back on his own.
He can do it. It's fine. He used to play futsal and speaks fluent Russian. What more do you want?
He's Ukrainian, isn't he? I think
40 million.
Apparently
Martin
so.
Webb said 40 million for Cody.
30, I think you'd take. Although he is worth more than Semedo, so it's got to be more than 33.6 million.
I actually didn't know that. But just going back to Max Kilman, I didn't realise that both his parents are Ukrainian. So he wanted to play for the Ukrainian national team, but they turned it down because he played futsal at England level, which is a bit stupid, I think. Like because
He might get into England.
Shevchenko's tried to call him up, but he got blocked by FIFA. Fun fact for you, I didn't know that.
FIFA blocked Ukraine. I thought you meant Ukraine didn't go for him because he played.
No.
futsal.
But Ukraine wanted him. Shevchenko tried to call him up, but he got blocked by FIFA, which they
Try
probably just need to pay him more money.
Not big enough brown envelope, is there?
I think it's quite funny. We've got, what's his name? Berriton from Blackburn. He's like playing for Chile now. Have you seen that? Ben Berriton. He's like because he's got a Chilean on his mother's side. He's now can't speak any Spanish, but he goes and plays for Chile, and he scored the other week. Like,
Did he?
Yeah. You're not listening about that. The Blackburn.
It's
Man.
a holiday.
It's
isn't
quite
it?
funny. Could be in the playing the World Cup, but playing for Chile.
Listen, right? If Cody can get into the England squad, there's no reason why Kilman can't, in my opinion. That's not a dig at Cody, by the way.
No, but he's got a couple more years of proving it. Maybe this season and a bit of next before he'll get a call up to play against the Faroe Islands.
Well, after this season and the bit of the next will be the World Cup.
And
there's
David
a lot of
Beckham is the ambassador.
I saw that. Yeah, Simon Jordan on TalkSport was absolutely hammering him for it, wasn't it?
What's he the ambassador for?
He's like he's going to be the face of the World Cup. They're going to pay him a shit ton of money.
So he hates gays and Jews as well, then, doesn't he?
Well, that's what he was saying. Is that there was like a little bit of a murky area of where your priorities like.
What you're representing,
is it? Pretty open. Like, go there, kiss a bloke, get your head cut off.
Yeah,
There's no murkiness in it.
Excellent. Well, on that bombshell.
Wasn't there? Sorry.
Inner workings of Qatar.
Wasn't there a player in the Australian league as a first like soccer or football player to come out as gay?
He's the only male pro footballer in the world that is
brave. That
playing is that
gay. Yeah.
I thought. I'll be honest. By now, I thought there'd be a few in the Prem that had come out by now.
It's bound to be a
lot of
really.
time, isn't it? Wasn't the ex-Villa player? Was it Hitzelsberger?
Hitzelsberger.
He came out the after he was finished, but. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Well, not really. Just
what's that?
It's not really a tough one. People just need to stop being cunts.
Yeah, but no, it's tough to play, though, isn't it? No, because they know that we know what the football. You know, we've seen all the stuff with the Black Lives Matters. You know the stick they're going to get, don't you? In the ground.
I had it at Brighton away. I had to have a go at someone behind us, didn't we? Were you with me, Jack?
Yeah, I think they thought that we were a couple, Dan. I'm not going to lie.
I did. They did actually
because we're hammered. But
well, I think we should definitely leave it there. We'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
See you, everyone.
He's made it through. Jack Williams.
Bye, everybody.
Dan Bayliss.
Bye, Wolves fans.
And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.
I've got to end it, haven't I? Yeah.